Hey y'all, welcome to the weekly update for March 10th. Wild that we're over halfway through March now. Literally insane. So I'll be giving horoscopes for all 12 rising signs. This does go off your rising sign. If you want to know how the transits are impacting your chart as a whole, because you have more than just your rising sign going on in your chart, and what's going on in the sky is going to affect what's going on in your personal chart differently based on what you got going on. I do teach that in my Become an Astrologer course, so come join if you want to learn how to read the transits and read your chart like a professional. And I'm just going to dive right into it today because I know that's what you're here for, is for the the rising sign horoscopes. Hey shadows. So we're just going to dive right into it. If you want a breakdown day to day of what's going on, I do that on my TikTok. I have the video posted in the description box. The link for it is posted there. And I also send out a weekly email with a play-by-play of the transits every day of the week to my email list in written form. So two places you can watch or read the play-by-play of the weekly transits that are going on this particular week. I also post it in my membership community, and there's a place to comment, share your chart, and ask questions about it in the membership community as well. So those are the places where my weekly update lives, and that's an in-depth update where we go over each day, the transits for it, and what that energy could bring. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to dive right into the rising sign horoscopes because I personally do not love repeating myself. I've already done videos on the update, the overall general overview of this week, and that's where they live. So you can check the description box for that if you want more of a general overview of the week ahead. But I have Mercury in Taurus, so I can't stand repeating myself. So we're just gonna dive right into the weekly rising sign horoscopes for this week. So Aries rising. We start the week off for you with the moon in your eighth house. This could be a really emotionally transformative couple of days, Aries. I mean, you have the Venus and Mercury retrograde, depending on the degree of your rising sign, you have that happening right over your ascendant. If you have an early degrees Aries rising, which Aries risings is actually one of the most rare rising signs, along with Pisces, which is the most rare, and Aquarius, which is like the third most rare. So yeah, you do want to check the degrees of your rising for what is going on for you exactly. But if you, like I said, have an early degree rising sign, in Aries, Venus and Mercury are retrograding right over that. So it's a big reevaluation of your communication, of your values, and really like how that's showing up not only in your sense of self, your identity, and your appearance, but also in your relationships. All relationships. Especially if you are in a romantic relationship with a partner, that's going to show up majorly there for you as well. There's also a lot going on in your 12th house that this moon in Scorpio we have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are going to kind of bring harmony to and awareness to. The first half of this week, Aries, could feel very emotionally transformative. Like I said, it could feel very much like you're in an emotional depth, an emotional wave, and it's like, how do I come out of this? So practices you have to work through that can really be helpful. Meditation, yoga, yin yoga, journaling, talking to ChatGPT or a therapist, just really having a space and a practice to process those emotions is going to be really helpful for you this week, Aries risings. Then, as the moon moves into your ninth house, there could be something that you're learning, and the sun moves into your first house around the same time as well. So there could be this renewal energy, and oh, like I suddenly want to learn astrology. I suddenly want to learn like how to knit. I suddenly want to learn, I don't know, whatever it is. Like there's something that you're wanting to invest in education around, and there's maybe that could also show up as an international trip you want to take, or you want to get out of your state, or you want to get out of your region and just go experience a new culture. Something like that could also show up for you Thursday and Friday, Aries risings. And then on the week, during the weekend, this could be a really good day to focus on your career and like reevaluate how you want to be showing up in your career. Is it aligned with what you really want to be doing? Is it aligned with your values? Is it aligned with the dream you have of like the amount of money you want to make? There's really going to be a lot of reevaluations, Aries risings, this weekend around your career, how you're showing up there, what boundaries you're communicating there. If you do want to work for someone else, like asking for a raise, if you do want to start your own business, like really taking steps to do that, make that happen, kind of thing. Big focus on your career after this emotional purge that happens earlier in the week. They could be related. Like you purge all these emotions and you realize like, oh, my work gets in the way of that and I don't want this to keep happening, so I have to shift what I'm doing. That kind of thing, Aries. Lots of new beginnings this week, it feels like. Okay, Taurus. We start the week off for you, Taurus, with the moon in your seventh house. So there could be a lot of emotional release in terms of relationships or realizations that come through your partnerships. Anything really having to do with the other, like people kind of triggering you the first couple days of the week, getting really triggered by people or wanting to take space from the internet because you're getting really triggered there or something like that. It feels like there's this desire to spend more time in community, but there's also a lot of stuff that comes up when you do spend time with people that you maybe weren't aware of before that you're realizing you need to process. Because the Venus and Mercury retrogrades are in your 12th house, there's a lot of stuff that was hidden or just underneath the surface before coming to light, and it's doing so through the people that are around you. If you're in a relationship or married or anything like that, it could be that that person is mirroring a lot to you, but really all types of dynamics are mirroring a lot to you right now about your own healing. And that's going to bring up a lot of stuff the first 3 days of the week. And then when the moon moves into your eighth house, I feel like that's going to deepen. That will be Wednesday, Thursday. But it is Sagittarius. And so it might be money stuff that's brought up. Like you're finally doing your taxes and it's bringing up some stuff that you didn't think it would bring up, or you're having to have hard conversations with your spouse or a partner around that. And just reevaluating resources in a lot of ways. If you're single, just reevaluating your own resources, budgeting, like where's the money going? Does it really excite me? Did I spend too much money on this one thing? Do I really need to like just reevaluate my spending habits and how that is allowing me to really live the life I want to live, right? And then you will begin Aries season, Taurus, in your 12th house, which is also going to bring up a lot of just subconscious healing. You might be getting messages through dreams or just having weird dreams that you're like, wait, why is this person from 5 years ago in my dream? There's a lot of clearing of a cycle, clearing of old stuff, old patterning happening right now for you, Taurus, especially towards the end of this week. And then when the moon moves into your ninth house, there could just be some things you're organizing, restructuring. There could be again like something that you really are realizing, oh, I need to invest more in education around budgeting. I need to invest more in education around how to manage my money or how to invest my money better or how to really look at these subconscious things that are coming up for me. Like there's gonna be some challenge or conflict that happens that really has you reevaluating where you're investing your time and what that is teaching you, and is it aligned with where you want to go, the direction you want to head, the dream that you have. And you may be just reevaluating where you're putting that emotional energy, if that makes sense. So that's the week for you, Taurus. Gemini, we start the week off with the moon in your sixth house, so you could be reevaluating health routines. You could really be rethinking like, okay, how do I meal prep better? How do I grocery shop better? How do I, really take care of myself in ways that maybe I've been putting off? Because there's a lot of expansion, Gemini, happening in your area, in your sense of self, in your area of you, in your first house. And it might have shown up as neglecting some of your basic needs, like having a workout routine established or healthy eating, right? So the first half of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is really going to bring that up for you in a new way. It's like, oh, I need to have this foundation of taking care of myself truly, because it's going to benefit you in the long term. Also in the short term, you're just going to start feeling better. You're going to be less scattered. Because really, there's also not only is there a lot happening in your sense of self, there's a lot happening in your external world that's kind of pulled you away from your internal world. So the focus of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be how do I get back to my internal world in the ways that I need and continue to be consistent in that. Then when the moon moves into your seventh house on Wednesday and Thursday, there could be something that comes up around relationships and just feeling again like there's this need to balance things that maybe have fallen off for you with all of this focus on your community and your career and maybe like posting more on social media. And again, there's all this external focus and it's pulled you away from a lot of things that matter to you. And you're realizing that this week of like, oh, I can't neglect these things, even though these things are really pulling me. And I'm spending a lot of time, investing a lot of time in doing these things and having these things be a focus. Like I can't forget myself. I can't forget my family. I can't forget my relationships. So there's a big push to remember that this week and to cultivate better balance there. Then, as the moon moves through your eighth house on Saturday and Sunday, you might be doing your taxes. You might just be getting more organized about financial matters. Maybe this new career venture, whatever it is, has been bringing in a lot more money for you, and you're like, okay, how do I organize it? How do I manage it better? What do I do with it? That kind of thing. Like, what structures and boundaries do I need to have in place with my finances that support this balance and that also support where I'm headed, right? Long term as well as the short term goals. So that is the week for you, Gemini. All right, Cancer. On Monday, the moon will be in your fifth house. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday really be moving through your fifth house. And that's putting a focus on your creativity. There might be some really intense emotion that comes up for you the first couple days of the week, Cancer, that has you focused on your creative passions, like as an outlet for that emotion, as a channel for that emotion. That can be really beneficial for your career and for like what you're really building in terms of a new beginning for yourself there. Maybe you're, if you make jewelry or you make art, you're wanting to like create more focus around that and share that more with the world and maybe what you have been doing in your career. There's a lot of healing happening for you through your career. And Monday, Tuesday, really on Tuesday, there's going to be something that happens that like it feels like a culmination of everything that's been coming up with these transits for you really over the last 6 months, Cancer. And how can you just express your creative passions and interests more and really make time for that? Then on Wednesday and Thursday, as the moon moves into your sixth house, again, there's this kind of focus on work, but also health, like not neglecting yourself to do this new thing or not forgetting your needs. Like if you're just so passionate about what you're doing and sharing it and building it, and you do it for 12 hours straight and you forget, like you haven't eaten all day and you haven't drinking any water, like that's really going to bring this up for you. It's like, oh, I need to like set a reminder on my phone to drink water. Or I need to set a reminder to like eat because I'm just so focused on doing this thing and putting my, emotionally charged energy into this thing that I'm forgetting to actually take care of me and myself. So that's going to be a big theme Thursday, I'd say Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for you, Cancer. Especially on Thursday, it will probably come to a head around the middle of the day of like, oh, I overextended myself in this one area and I need to reel it back in to taking care of myself and remembering to do that. And then the weekend, Cancer, it feels like you're really focused on relationships. It feels like there's maybe just some new structures emerging there, new systems that you're putting in place around the way you want to relate to people in your life and having healthier relationships. There might be like friction though in your career of like, oh, I want to have this conversation with this person right now, but I have to go to work or something, it's like, oh, you have to kind of leave something to go do something else. Because there's a lot of external focus for you with everything that's in Pisces in your ninth house and everything that's in Aries, especially the retrogrades in your 10th house. You're reevaluating a lot about your external life. And a big message too is not to forget your internal life as well, and maybe having just more of a system or more of a routine, more of a schedule for how to remember to do those things that maybe have been neglected or have fallen off. So that's the week for you, Cancer. Leo. For you, Leo, the moon starts off this week in your fourth house. So there will be a really big focus on your home, your family, maybe healing some subconscious wounds or things that come up that you didn't realize were still kind of affecting you, like childhood stuff, especially on Tuesday, as the moon will harmonize with what we have in Pisces and Mars in Cancer as well in your areas of like deep subconscious wounds. So this is a big, big, big week of transformation for you, Leo rising, and of realizing a lot of stuff that maybe was just underneath the surface and you didn't expect it to come up again or something like that. And it's really going to prompt you to get back to maybe practices you've forgotten about of like journaling or meditation or having a consistent yoga routine maybe, talking out these things with ChatGPT as your therapist or a real life therapist if you prefer that. Like, there's just something that's going to prompt you on Tuesday, especially to really process emotions in a big way. And this big, big shift is going to come from it. You're in deep, deep, deep transformation right now. You might also be focused on money, your resources, managing those better, how you're investing, like where you're diversifying your income, stuff like that. Maybe investing in education around that, or really just starting to talk to people about who've already kind of done what you want to do and get advice from them, kind of thing. With the Venus and Mercury retrograde in your ninth house, Leo, it's really okay. Like, what do I need to learn? Where do I want to shift my focus of like how I'm spending my time learning new things is the big theme of those retrogrades for you. And then this week is really going to be about, like I said, investing your time in how to transform these emotions or these childhood wounds and patterns that keep showing up, especially early in the week. And then Wednesday, Thursday, you have the moon moving through your fifth house of creativity. So there might just be some deep, intense emotional stuff that comes up the first couple days of the week, but then middle of the week through the end of the week, it's more so like, okay, how do I channel this into something creative? How do I channel this into a passion? Or maybe you're shifting how you're showing up, like in your career, that is more aligned with what you realized earlier in the week, or maybe even what the eclipse brought up for you. It's like you're really shifting, not majorly, but just kind of subtly shifting the focus of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Then when the moon moves through your sixth house, I mean, more around that is going to come up of like, okay, what structures and systems do I need to have in place to be able to make this work? What's the foundation? Do I need to like change my schedule? Do I need to just like change my marketing? Do I need to, it's really kind of like structural things this weekend. Do I need to change my personal routine, like so that I support myself better, so that I show up better at work or whatever it is? Um, Especially on Sunday, yeah, later on Sunday, maybe even later on Sunday, you're going to have the moon harmonize with Uranus in your 10th house. So this is big focus on work and career. What needs to change? What structures or systems do I need to put in place that I've neglected to have before? So that is this week for you, Leo rising. All right, Virgo rising. The moon starts off on Monday in your third house of communication. This might have you just feeling a little feisty. You might really have to like be careful of not projecting any triggers that come up outwardly the beginning of this week, especially on Tuesday, as the moon will harmonize with Mars and all that's in Pisces. This could be a really kind of like where you're a little feisty, you're a little bitey, maybe a little grumpy the first 2 days of the week, as there's a lot just coming up that you maybe are realizing you need to shift about how you exert your energy, how you express yourself, how you communicate, and how that's showing up in your world and being reflected back to you of like, okay, if you've been a chronic people pleaser or a chronic not standing up for yourself person, this is gonna bring that to you where it's like, oh, this is really negatively impacting me in my life. I need to just start speaking up for myself, like truly. And whenever we integrate something new, it's not graceful. So just be gentle with yourself if you do get a little bitey or grumpy. Like, it's just a part of that integration process of you really starting to stand up for yourself, and you really start to really starting to assert your needs in ways that you maybe haven't ever done before. So just remember to not be too critical of yourself, Virgo. I know that's tough, but be graceful with yourself and loving towards yourself as this is integrating. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, the moon will be moving through your fourth house. So there might be themes that come up through your home or through your family. If you live with people, maybe in a meditation, you get a download about something, or you need to suddenly take a trip to Brazil or something. That kind of feels like something that could come up around travel, around something you want to just a new culture you want to experience, or just a new adventure or experience you want to have for the sake of having that experience, could come up on Wednesday or Thursday. More likely on Thursday, as the moon will be opposite Jupiter in your 10th house. It feels like you're being pulled between this need to expand and this need to also just have better for yourself through your home or through experiences that you need to prioritize making time for. And then on Friday, the moon will be challenging all this stuff in Pisces in your seventh house. So this could be This could again not be comfy for your relationships. This could bring up really kind of emotional trigger stuff again of needing to stand up for yourself, needing to assert your boundaries and needs. And then on Saturday and Sunday through the weekend, as the moon moves through your fifth house, you might just be feeling more like spending time with your creative passions, or like if you've neglected a creative passion that you have and you've been wanting to get back into it, really making the time for it, really being like, oh, okay, like I love doing this thing, but I've neglected it because my career has been popping off, or because I'm like learning how to really take care of my resources, or I've been really doing my taxes or whatever it is. Like there's stuff that's been pulling you away from your roots and your foundation. And there's a need this weekend that you're going to realize of, I need to schedule time for this thing that I really truly love that I've gotten away from. Whether it's like you schedule 30 minutes in the morning to make time for that thing or whatever it is, you're just gonna realize there's a need to put some structure in, actual structure container around that, so you can really make time for it and not neglect it anymore because it supports everything else that you're doing. Okay, that's it for you, Virgo. All right, we have Libra. So the moon will be moving through your second house, Libra, on Monday and Tuesday, really putting the focus on your money, maybe like how you can make more money for yourself, how you can diversify your portfolio, your investments, or your income in general. There could be a lot of stuff that comes up emotionally around money that's like, oh, I didn't realize this belief system that was passed down to me through my childhood conditioning is still affecting my finances today. Like that's kind of this energy, is like something emotionally could be, I don't like to use the word blocking, but just like keeping the flow of money not optimal for you. So you might realize that Monday and Tuesday of like, okay, I really need to dive deep into this and shift this for real because it's affecting how I'm able to like move through life and how I'm able to take care of myself and my resources. And that directly correlates to the dream that you have for yourself in your life, Libra. And that realization could come on Tuesday of like, oh, this pattern is showing up in this way that I didn't realize. And it's keeping me from achieving the dream that I've had for however long. And then you shift it and the energy shifts. That could also come through in your career as well, because there will be a grand water trine in your area of career, your area of day-to-day work, and your money. So there's a huge focus on that. Like, am I doing on a daily basis what I want to be doing? Am I known for what I want to be known for in my career, right? That was a big period of the Mars retrograde. If you saw my video or listen to the podcast episode I did on that, the Mars retrograde was for Libra risings affecting their career and really having them reevaluate how they're showing up in their career and what they're known for to the world. So that those themes could still be coming up, especially as the moon is harmonizing with this stuff on Tuesday. And then as the moon moves through your third house, Libra, you could just be feeling more social Wednesday, Thursday, and some of Friday, of wanting to get out more. Or you could just be like, okay, I need to prioritize these errands. Like that was a really intense first 2 days of the week. And I still have to do all these errands. I need to go grocery shopping. I need to do this. I need to do that, right? I need to whatever it is. There's going to be a lot of just movement in your kind of day to day and where you're going. You might be actually like really busy all of a sudden, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect to have to do all these things. And now I kind of do. There might also on Thursday be some reevaluations of an, oh, my ring light just died, of an international variety. Like if you've wanted to move abroad, you might just be reevaluating that on Thursday of like, okay, well, what, do I actually want that? What do I want it to look like? You might be getting more clarity around that on Thursday as the moon is opposite Jupiter. But it could also feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to expand in that way. Now that I've kind of gotten more clarity, I do have this emotional need to be where I am, and maybe I just need to take more road trips or more travel trips, less or more frequently, something like that, Libra. There's also a lot going on in your relationships. I mean, you could be meeting somebody, you could just be reevaluating your relationship and how you guys want to relate to each other, what's working for you in the relationship, what's not. That could come up uh as well. Like I would say Friday probably. And then through the weekend, Libra, you're going to be focused on your home. So you might be organizing stuff, you might be cleaning, you might be just creating a new schedule for yourself of what you want to do on a daily basis, because the moon will be in Capricorn in your fourth house, the sign of structure and the sign of like needing to have a kind of container for the things that you want to do. So you might be reorganizing, or like I said, cleaning, or really focused on, you might be a weekend a hermit as well, Libra, of like, okay, well, I really need to get these things done that I've been putting off in my home, or I really need to set aside time for this thing because I've been ignoring it. That kind of thing could show up for you this weekend, Libra. So that is for you. All right, Scorpio rising. The moon starts off in your first house on Monday and Tuesday and some of Wednesday. This is going to be an emotional look at yourself. You could just be feeling really sensitive. You could be feeling much more intuitive these first couple days. That could bring up stuff as it relates to your creative passions, children, if that applies. And it could also be like you rethinking a decision to go back to school, or you rethinking a decision to invest in a course, or take that international travel trip. Like there's gonna be this emotional look at things and what you've kind of planned for yourself, and does it still feel good? Does it still feel aligned? Because there's a lot that's just shifted for you mentally, physically, emotionally, and it's like, okay, I really can only extend my energy doing what I love, and have these things that I've put on my plate. Are these things that I've put on my plate really what I love or not? The Venus and Mercury retrograde are happening in your sixth house of day-to-day work and physical health as well. So there could be on Wednesday, as the moon moves through your second house and harmonizes with the Venus and Mercury retrograde in your sixth house, there could be this reevaluation as it relates to your career. Are you making money in the way that you want to? How are you taking care of yourself physically? And is it aligned with how you want to be? Do you need to start going back to the gym again? Or do you want to? Do you want to start eating healthier? That kind of thing. Like the second house doesn't just rule our money, it also rules our food. So how are you emotionally tied to that relationship? And is it the tie that you want to have with that relationship? Like really healing your relationship with food through just having better habits or something like that. And I also feel like Scorpio, this is a really creative time for you. I mean, there's just so much going on in your fifth house. And the Venus and Mercury retrograde are going to go back there as well. And it's really about, are you doing what you love right now? Like huge, huge, huge overarching theme and focus. And this week is going to bring that up in a lot of big ways, a lot of emotional ways of like, okay, and you got to be honest with yourself, right? Like if you haven't been doing what you love, there needs to be a reevaluation there. On Thursday, this could happen in your money, like needing to get more organized, needing to do your taxes or something like that. Just be more financially responsible. And then through the weekend, as the moon moves through your third house, it could bring up a lot of communication things. It could also have you really focused on errands you need to run or prioritize doing in your life, and having a set schedule around. Like I mentioned, previously, going to the gym, or just having a day that you meal prep so that you have healthy food in your fridge all week, that kind of stuff. So that is you, Scorpio rising. Hi, Masha. Bonjour de Tahiti. Ah, c'est très cool. Je suis contente de voir en direct. Merci beaucoup. Hi, Goddess. You're so welcome. Your rising, Mercury, and Venus are in Aries. Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay, Sag rising. Okay, Sag. The moon begins in your 12th house on Monday. That's gonna bring up a lot of, maybe you might again be healing through dreams. You might this has been happening for everybody for quite some time with Neptune on the North Node. Is like a lot of vivid dreams, a lot of healing happening through dreams, a lot of just random kind of seemingly random things coming through in our dreams. So that might be amplified for you, Sagittarius, on Monday, Tuesday, and definitely Wednesday as the moon continues to move through your 12th house of the subconscious, of what's hidden. I don't think these dreams necessarily, I mean, they could be prophetic depending on what you have in your chart in your 12th house or in other places, but I do think it's mostly just a lot of subconscious purging, a lot of healing that's happening while you're asleep that necessarily you don't have room for, time for, to prioritize when you're awake. There could be something that comes up too on Wednesday around making a move. wanting to just move locations or change your home, redecorate your home, or maybe get a new home where you already are if you love where you are living. There might just be stuff coming up around, yeah, like your actual physical home. There could be family stuff as well that comes up to just prompt some healing in you. You might have a healing conversation with a family member or something like that, or just might be triggered by a family member and realizing, like, oh, there's still something here that I need to really look at and heal. That could come up for you on Wednesday, Sagittarius. And then the moon will be moving through your first house on Thursday and Friday. So you might just be feeling more sensitive. You might really be like feeling yourself after whatever came up and that you worked through, you're healed or whatever. This could also be a really creative day on Thursday where you're prioritizing your passions or reevaluating how you're showing up or how you're expressing your creativity. But it's a big focus on you as the moon moves through your first house. And then through the weekend, the moon moves through your second house. This could be a reevaluation of your money, getting more organized with finances. Maybe if really want to get on a good track with paying your taxes, like paying them quarterly. I think that's coming up. That kind of thing. There'll be a really big focus through the weekend, Sagittarius, on your resources and maybe like budgeting for creative stuff. Like if you wanted to learn knitting or you wanted to take cooking classes, like really having a structured way that you finance that passion. That could also be something that comes up for you as well in the week through the weekend, Sagittarius. Shadow says Scorpio rising here, and that all tracks hard. I've been feeling like everything in my life needs an overhaul. Oh my God, yeah. That's what it feels like. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. I feel like a lot of us are in that place right now of really new beginnings. I mean, it is the solar new year and the spring equinox this week, I believe on the 20th. Okay, Capricorn. The moon starts off in your 11th house of long-term dreams, goals, vision, and also your community, social media as well. So you might be getting insights around how you want to show up in any or all of those things, getting clarity, emotional clarity around a long-term goal or vision that you've had for yourself that you're starting to just take the action towards creating. You might also be really, really reevaluating where you're going on a daily basis, what you're doing on a daily basis, as the moon on Wednesday is going to harmonize with all that's in Pisces in your third house. So it might be like you don't really like, the coffee shop you've been going to because you don't like the people that are there. So you try to find a new coffee shop that puts you around people you want to be around, kind of thing. Or, you're reevaluating as well your social media habits, maybe doom scrolling less or having like a rule for yourself. If you consume content, you have to create content, and really just getting more on having a better sense of structure around your creation process. There's also just a lot happening in your home, a lot happening in your subconscious. You might be really prioritizing your mental health a lot more, especially as the moon moves through your 12th house on Thursday and Friday, realizing like, oh, I've started a new meal plan or I started a new workout routine, but I also can't neglect my mental health. Like it's great to take care of your physical body in all the ways, but it's also just as important to take care of your mental health. And Thursday or Friday might bring that up for you of like, oh, I need to also be prioritizing this. And then it might be showing up just in some family matters or subconscious wounds that are coming up from family as well, like how those might have just still been impacting you. And then through the weekend, Capricorn, the moon will be moving through your first house of you. So you might be feeling more sensitive. You might be feeling really just kind of needing to prioritize like feeling something maybe you've been neglecting. But I know that can be tough when the moon is in Capricorn because it's like, oh, we want to structure, we want to prioritize, we want to organize. But also there's just some emotional thing that you might want to look at as it relates to, again, like the subconscious, or there's a huge focus on your mental health, Capricorn. And how am I prioritizing that? What really supports my mental health to thrive and for me to feel my best is a big focus on Saturday and Sunday as well. You might also get a creative boost later in the day on Sunday that could really support this shift or whatever that is that you want to make and you need to prioritize. But there could be something, pick your battles on Sunday, Capricorn, because there could be some altercation with someone in your life that you need to like remain grounded and calm for and not Not let it take you away from your center, because it could really do that if you let it. So that's the week for you, Capricorn. Aquarius. We start the week off on Monday with the moon in your 10th house of career. So there might be a lot of money stuff that's been coming up for you, day-to-day work, routine kind of stuff, needing to prioritize those things in a new way. Are you still really doing what you want to be doing to make money, Aquarius? Or does it just feel like you're going through the motions kind of thing? That could come to a head on, let's see, probably Wednesday. Yeah, late on Tuesday or early on Wednesday, that it can bring up a lot of emotions around, I think I want to start a new chapter in my career. I think I want to be doing something else to make money. I think I want it to be more aligned with my spiritual goals, with my spiritual passions, or something like that. As opposed to if you've been making money or your career's been really focused on, things that you aren't truly passionate about, like you were at one point in time, but that passion has evolved, and maybe that also is showing up in how you want to express that passion in your career. Does that make sense? There's a big focus on, especially as we get into later in the week, expressing your creativity in a new way, or starting to show up on social media in a new way. If you've only been using it for personal use and you want to build a business, like really starting to put time and energy there, really getting creative with it, really getting out of the mind about it, really just putting it out there for all of the world to see. Have y'all seen that lady that this is reminding me of that lady that's just blown up on TikTok? I can't remember her name. Over the past 2 months, she's accumulated like 2 million followers, and it's just because she's showing up on social media being real, being authentic, and being honest with just her, her day-to-day life. And it's just amazing to see. And this is very much what your chart is giving for this week, Aquarius. It's like, okay, what I've been doing isn't really aligned with my truth or my authenticity, and I need to shift something there. Especially with Pluto in your first house. I mean, it's just a lot of transformation in terms of you and how you're expressing yourself to the world. And that's going to come to a head this week and really show you in a sobering way, maybe the changes you've wanted to make, but haven't, like how you need to do it. Then on Saturday and Sunday, the moon moves through your 12th house. Maybe just putting that focus as well on, okay, well, this is really negatively impacting my mental health, what I've been doing. So how can I, move forward in a new way that prioritizes my mental health as well as my physical health? There could be something that comes up on Sunday early in the morning, depending on where you are in the world, that kind of triggers this, as the moon is opposite Mars. It could be, like I don't know, what's an example? Like you realize you have to climb like 4 flights of stairs, and you realize like, oh wow, I really used to like work out, and I really used to be a lot more fit, and I've totally fallen off of that because of what I've been doing in my career that doesn't feel aligned with me anymore, and I really need to like change from what I'm doing in my career so I can prioritize my health again, kind of thing. It feels like that's what's going to come up for you over the weekend, Aquarius. And that's the week for you. Masha is an Aquarius rising. I was wondering those questions about my career for the past week. Oh my gosh, yeah. It makes sense. Okay, last but not least is Pisces. We start the week off on Monday with the moon in your ninth house, Pisces, and Scorpio. This could bring up just maybe a reevaluation around whatever type of education you're pursuing, or an international pursuit. Perhaps if you thought that you wanted to move abroad, or you're realizing that you actually really do and you're taking the steps towards it, or you realize, oh, maybe that's not what I want to do anymore, just because of a conversation you have with someone or something like that. That could come up on Tuesday and Wednesday, of like realizing maybe the emotional tie you had to this thing isn't the same that it used to be anymore. And so you're reevaluating that. There's this big, big, big new identity shift happening for you, Pisces, and it has been happening for a couple years, and you're really starting to step into it fully this year. And whatever, it's like you can't keep moving forward in the way that you have been, because it no longer supports who you are anymore. There's also a lot happening in terms of your money. Again, like I think we talked about this last week, but what is going on in how you're making money and what you're doing with it? Is it really aligned with what you want to be doing? That's going to be something that comes up Thursday and Friday as the moon is moving through your 10th house of career and public reputation, public image. It's like, okay, am I really putting energy into something that I want to be known for, or has a shift occurred there? And I've changed, so how I want to be known to the world has changed, and my goal and overall vision for that has changed as well. So that could be a positive thing that happens for your money too, where it's like, if you've been working for someone else and it's kind of dried up, it's kind of hit a dead end, and you really want to start to build your own business kind of thing, it takes off and it just all of a sudden goes viral and you're like, wait, how did this even happen so quickly? That's kind of this energy. It's like you really just have to take that leap of faith, and trust that this thing you've been led towards, you've been feeling called towards, is ultimately going to be beneficial for you, even if it feels like there's a little bit of a rough patch in that transition. I mean, all transitions are hard, but it does feel like whatever this is, Pisces, it's like you really need to start doing it. And that realization is going to come this week, probably on Thursday or Friday, of like, okay, I can't avoid this anymore. I can't put this off. I can't ignore it. And then on Saturday and Sunday, Pisces, the moon moves through your 11th house, kind of solidifying that insight of like, okay, well, what do I actually do? What steps do I take to move forward on this? What structures do I need to have in place? Do I need to change my schedule a little bit? Do I need to wake up a little earlier or actually like carve out time to do this thing? Like, what system or structure do I need to put in place? What container do I need to have to prioritize this and to make it happen? Because avoiding it is just not going to work anymore. It's just not going to work, Pisces. So that's this weekend for you. It could be even something happens with your money that's like an unexpected something happens, and you're like, oh, well, if I had, sold my art or whatever, like I would have, and it's not, I don't want y'all to think it's regret, because it's like you can always change this, but it's like, oh, you're getting an insight around how your intuition works and why your intuition tells you to do certain things, and there might just be a conflict or challenge that gives you that insight on Saturday, and that revelation of like, oh, yeah, so I really need to start doing this, and that's why I've been feeling called to do this. It could be like your company is doing mass layoffs kind of thing, and it's like if you had already started posting, your content or whatever it is, like you would have another avenue of money, but it's all going to work out regardless. It's just like, oh, you're going to realize like that's why my intuition has been telling me to do this, and it's really is time to start doing it. So especially with this, with Aries season beginning. So that's the week for you, Pisces, and that is everybody. If you resonated with yours, tell me in the comments. Like I said, the full update, general overview for this week lives on my TikTok. It's also on my Instagram, which are just linked in the description. I also send out the weekly update with the daily play-by-play of the transits and what they mean to my email list. Also, the link for that is in my description box. And once this video is posted, after I end the live, there will be timestamps for each rising sign as well. It takes me a few minutes to do that, so please be patient with me. I have to do it manually for right now, but it will be done. So that is this week for y'all. If you're here, I love you. Thanks for being here. I will be doing a live Q&A in my membership this week, so if you're in my membership, come join the live Q&A. It's so fun. It's like a Zoom room, and we all get to talk and hang out and just talk about astrology and human design, nerd out. I love doing those so much. So come join if you're in the membership, and if not, if you're called, come join the membership and you can take part in those Q&As. And yeah, other than that, that's all I have for y'all. I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here again. I love you. And you're welcome, Masha. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye.